Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now.
Yo guys, it's Haunting Lion, welcome back to the channel. Hello my friends, have you ever wondered why Charizard looks like a dragon but isn't actually a dragon? Well, having access to Dragon Breath, Charizard can actually finally play a role like the Dragonite. So I'm going to see which is the better Pokemon. So I'm bringing my Shadow Charizard into the Open Premier League. I know Dragon Breath is probably better in the Open League, but I want to see how strong it is and if it can actually replace Dragonite as a secondary Pokemon in the Empoleon Double Dragon team. My reason being for picking Charizard here is because I tried Charizard with a few different Pokemon, but this team actually was the most stable one I found. Obviously, it's a proven line with Empoleon Double Dragon, but the great thing about Charizard is if your opponent has Charmers, you're not extremely weak to Charmers basically in the back, which, you know, there are teams that rock double Charmers exclusively to counter this team, so this team can actually counter that. And also the Abomasnow matchup can be fairly tricky for the Dragonite and somewhat sketchy for the Empoleon and also the Kingdra, so Charizard actually covers in a lot better there for the neutral damage it takes. So on to the first game. Guys, I have invested an Elite Charge TM into my Charizard and also about 250k Stardust, so please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you do enjoy what you see, and let me know what I should build up next. But guys, without further ado, let's go back to the game. So Kingdra up against this Drapion, is it? So a bit of a spicy pick from my opponents. Obviously Ice Fang would do more damage, but again it's fairly neutral against Kingdra. Kingdra is an absolute beast, great save switch. So I did initially try Shadow Charizard with Swampert as well as Gengar. Gengar actually worked quite well with Kingdra as well, but my initial idea for this team kind of incorporated Shadow Venusaur, which I hadn't actually fully built. I didn't have the dust, I ran out of dust basically around 2300 CP. So Shadow Venusaur coming tomorrow for you guys, with this team maybe, or with a different team. So that's going to be my ideal team. So Shadow Charizard in the lead with Shadow Venusaur closer and Kingdra as the safe switch. So quite an elite team, but yeah, you're going to see this Shadow Charizard absolutely putting in work with Dragon Breath, taking this Aqua Tail quite comfortably, kinda, but no, he takes it out, and obviously I've got a shield here. I can do fairly well. I do actually like Wing Attack Charizard slightly better against the fighting matchup. Dragon Breath does do quite well, so it's not too bad, but like I said before, the Abomasnow matchup is quite sketchy. My opponent had so much energy on the Machamp, and look at this Empoleon go. Empoleon Machamp counter confirmed. Thankfully I was able to get to, I was able to waterfall it down, which, yeah, it looked like a really dicey game. So on to the next game. So even though that was a Drapion like spicy pick, it was still such a close game. So on to a really bad lead into a Toxicroak, which is terrible for my team. Go straight into my Kingdra. Kingdra, like I said, an amazing Pokemon. And you know what? I always build up to the Outrage, and I throw it. I've learned that, you know what, I really shouldn't throw the Outrage on a Snorlax because most of them shield, and it's really annoying. At least with the Octazooka, I might get a debuff. Kind of happens for me, it doesn't always happen, so it's just one of those things, give or take things. But in my case scenario, I go for the Outrage thinking I need to get some heavy damage on the Snorlax, get back switch, but my opponent shields. So I decided to commit a shield, but my opponent has so much farm right now. So this, even though I shield here and try to commit to the try to commit to the Octazooka, my opponent actually will outpace me. So I'm trying to get to the Outrage again because I know an Outrage will KO, Octazooka won't. I wanted to obviously utilize my shield more cost effectively, but I had to actually go a second shield down to kind of maintain switch. At this point I'm just going to go for the Octazooka because he's in that range where he can almost be taken out, but some bad plays were made today. My opponent actually shields again, and I finally get the attack debuff. You know, it works, and I bring in my Charizard because I don't want my Kingdra to go down because it can be fairly useful against Toxicroak, and obviously a double debuffed Snorlax, or sorry, single debuffed Snorlax body slams won't hurt. So this is one of the matchups I actually like Charizard better than Dragonite, because Dragonite would be fully countered by Lapras. The Ice Shards would do so much damage, but you see that Blast Burn, a shadow boosted Blast Burn did that much health on the Lapras, so it's an absolute beast. Obviously Surf's gonna take me out. You know, Shadow Charizard is fairly frail, but he hits like a truck, especially like with Blast Burn. You know, Dragonite is cool, yeah. Dragonite has Dragon Claw, just like Charizard does. It does probably a bit more damage with the Dragon Breath, but having access to Blast Burn actually changes a lot of matchups. And like I said, Lapras is a bulky Pokemon. The Toxicroak plus 2 bulky Pokemon is a really fairly common team, and off to another terrible lead here as well against a Venusaur. It's kind of neutral-ish to a point, but I go straight into my Kingdra because I do want to come out of this with at least some like damage onto the Venusaur. And obviously I can take one Frenzy Plant before getting taken out. My opponent actually comes out with his own Empoleon, so I go for the outrage here because I do want to get this Empoleon as low as possible. You know, I'm glad it came out because it would have been a nightmare for my Charizard to deal with. And my opponent is, you know, fully going for the farm down, and he gets to his Drill Peck here. So I'm gonna either commit a shield. I don't actually commit a shield. I let it go because I want to come down. I want to come back in with my own Empoleon now because I want to basically get or fully farm this down, because obviously I don't want this Empoleon to see my Charizard, and my Empoleon is fairly well ranked. It's ranked 3 in the Ultra League, so it can tank 2 Hydro Cannons quite comfortably, and I'm able to fully commit to the farm down here. And now if my opponent comes out with the Charizard, I can take it out too, but obviously the Venusaur, I've got 2 Drill Pecks. This Venusaur has to either eat 1 or shield up once. So the first one goes through, which gets a shield, which is totally fine, but my opponent actually switches out smartly with his Charizard to catch this Drill Peck. So, but he actually shields anyway, thinking that I went for the Hydro Cannon. So thankfully he came in with his own Dragon Breath Charizard, but at that point he realized it's not doing enough damage, and I've got 2 shields against, you know, a non-backline as well. So that was a well played game to my opponent. Got a little bit lucky there, able to farm down the Empoleon, but it could have been a bit more of a dicier matchup. So onto a great lead this time against a Talonflame. I'm starting to see more Talonflames now. My opponent switches out into his Snorlax, so obviously I don't want to eat a superpower, so I switch in straight into my Kingdra because Kingdra obviously is the right Pokemon to go into, and it's a great safe switch. Like I keep saying, it's incredible. I still got like 1 or 2 power-ups before I fully max it out. It's an XL power-up as well, which is going to be quite expensive, but it's going to be well worth it because Kingdra is an absolute beast, bulky Pokemon, and this Snorlax is going for damage, and I built up all the way to the outrage, and maybe I should go for the Octazooka here, thinking that it'll bait the shield. My opponent shields, so yeah, pretty great on that part, but it's totally fine because I've got my Shadow Charizard. Shadow Charizard with Dragon Breath just chunks away at people. It does so much damage, and idiotically enough, I decided to shield there, thinking I can actually outpace him to my Octazooka, but sadly no, I can't because I don't know my fast move counts. But yeah, my opponent does take me out, so I did lose a shield pretty much for no reason, but it did allow the Snorlax to get into the range where I can farm it down without taking a body slam to the face, which would have hurt actually. So now, having that advantage to farm down has left me with quite a lot of energy, so I can actually just Dragon Claw this Talonflame instead of going for the Blast Burn. Blast Burn would do probably more damage, but it's better to go for the cheaper move, and obviously Dragon Breath is doing quite a bit of damage too. I decide to go into my Empoleon because I wanted to basically do as much more damage as more possible, and maybe draw any counter if possible. And obviously I had quite a lot of energy built on my Empoleon, and look, I'm able to get to a second Drill Peck. So like I said before, Empoleon is a Machamp counter confirmed, and it was a Shadow Machamp as well, so Empoleon has tanked those counters like a boss, and he brings out his Talonflame and pretty much GG right now. So came out with a win there, even though that aggressive switch into Empoleon should have cost me the game, but able to have that extra bit of energy helped out a lot. So on to the next game. Oh, this is the last game actually. This is a really frustrating game. So this is up against another rank 24 legend player. He's brought the most generic XL team there is, you know, degenerate XL team, which is Umbreon, Skarmory, and Galvantula. Surprise, surprise, it's an absolute beast of a team. You know, if you've got the resources, great, but it's such a pain in the ass to deal with. So Empoleon can do fairly well with the foul plays. So can take the foul plays fairly well, takes 2, and now I've got quite a lot of energy built. I'm throwing this Hydro Cannon to see how much damage it actually does to a chunky little thick boy over here. Umbreon doesn't do a lot. That's me learning how much damage it does. So now I'm trying to catch on my Kingdra. Thankfully I was able to catch the foul play. Again, foul play doesn't do too much, so Kingdra would have been fine anyway. But I've also left my Empoleon with energy, which is great. I can always use that later on. My opponent comes out with a Skarmory. So this is where the first misplay happens. rather than going for the Outrage, which I thought will do quite a lot, will do a bit more damage, but knowing it's a steel type, I should have just gone straight for the Octazooka. If I got the debuff, great. If I didn't, you know, it is one of those things, a 50% chance. I go for the Outrage, and you know, my opponent doesn't shield because Skarmory is an absolute wall to this Kingdra, and look at that, it didn't do any. It barely did any damage to Skarmory, and that Skarmory I think is a hundo as well. 2369 is massive CP. So thankfully I had that Hurricane ready, able to throw it onto the Skarmory, and he actually shields, which isn't great. So I'm able to sneak in an extra Waterfall, which actually does do quite a bit of damage. And ideally what I should have done here was, rather than farming it down more or trying to commit to the full farm down, is switched into my Charizard, because Charizard would have been a lot more, would have had a bigger opportunity to farm down, and I decided to go here, banking a move, but my opponent actually, I get a little bit of energy thankfully, but my opponent actually comes out with a Galvantula. He's thinking about it, and yeah, Galvantula, you know, this team has a bit of difficulty with electric types, but Kingdra can do fairly well, and obviously the damage output from Charizard is quite good too, so you can work around it. But yeah, Galvantula XL is a problem because it hits super hard, 2465, you know, fully ranked Pokemon, and he catches this Dragon Claw on his Umbreon. So I'm thinking, okay, shit, how much health does Umbreon have? I just forgot how much it had, and I undercharged it completely like an idiot, and because of that, I'm not actually able to farm it down, even with the Shadow Boosted Dragon Breath on that massive wall of an Umbreon. So I do just about go down, and at this point I know I've lost the game because Galvantula has charge move priority due to his higher attack stat, and even though I have so much energy ready, I lose because I wasn't able to recognize how much health the Umbreon had, and also I did try and fast move deny my opponent, but it didn't work out. But obviously I lose to a really strong XL team. But guys, thank you for watching my short gameplay of 5 games today, 1 set. But if you do enjoy, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also let me know which Shadow Pokemon you want to see next. I will bring that Shadow Venusaur next anyway. But yeah, it was really fun, and thank you for watching. Take care guys, and all the best in Ultra Cup, Premier League Ultra League, Premier Cup, Ultra Cup. Alright, all the best.